No flashy intros for this video. I think you all know what we're going to be talking about today. My opinion on the whole Overwatch PvE news that dropped yesterday. In case you missed it, yesterday we finally got a look at that long-awaited roadmap for the future seasons of Overwatch 2. And they actually revealed that PvE is coming to Overwatch in Season 6, which should be happening at the end of August. But Keller, the game director for Overwatch, and Jared Neuss, the executive producer for Overwatch, later revealed during a dev chat that this is not going to be the PvE mode that they promised us back in 2019. That they actually scrapped the hero missions and the talent trays, which are substantial parts of that experience. But I'll discuss what this means for PvE in Overwatch and the other things that they showed off in that roadmap in future videos, so stay tuned. Today, however, we mourn. We mourn the loss of a dream for both the Overwatch team and ourselves as a community. Now, if you expect me to tell you that PvE in Overwatch is dead and that they did this all out of greed, you might be on the wrong channel. But there are plenty of YouTube videos out there that got you covered, and I'm not judging anybody. I understand the sentiment behind those videos. As an Overwatch player, I am very disappointed by all of this. I feel cheated, I am pessimistic, but I'm not angry. Because there's one advantage I have due to my background as someone that works in the industry themselves. I can actually see how we got in this situation. In hindsight, of course, which is always 2020. But allow me to give you guys an idea on how this might have come to pass. How we ended up in a reality where Overwatch PvE, as it was promised to us back at BlizzCon 2019, is not going to happen. Which still hurts to say out loud. Now, before you jump into the comments, I'm not making any excuses for anybody. Blizzard and Team 4 definitely made mistakes, even as recent as yesterday. But I'll get back to those later in the video. First, I want to share some facts. Something you might not believe when Blizzard tells you after all of this, but that I can personally confirm to be true. And that is that making video games is hard. It might look easy. There are a ton of people out there that think they know better than game designers, that secretly are the best creatives we have in the industry, and that know the solution for every single game out there. But you know what? In reality, not even the game developers themselves fully grasp how to do it. Now, what I mean by that is that developing a game or making a game is never a straight path from point A to B, which some other digital products definitely are. Well, maybe unless you're making a game like Snake. But even Snake most likely had a few iterations before it ended up being the game it is today. Making a game is a process of discovery. You always start out with a goal, an idea, and you work towards that goal. But as you start to build the game, you run into hurdles. Now, those can be technical, even personal, but also, and in a lot of cases, they are conceptual. That fun idea that you had on paper might turn out to be the biggest pile of horse ever built. And you know what? That happens a lot. Like a lot. For every game out there that might be in your Steam library, there are thousands of games that never panned out. And that is because fun is a very difficult metric to capture, especially before you build something, and even more if you're going into new territory. If I ask you if your bungee jump was fun after you jump, you're probably going to be able to give me a good assessment. Well, we possibly can judge by the state of your pants. If I ask you just before you are to jump, you're going to punch me in the face, which is reasonable. The thing is, you haven't done it yet. How could you know that it is going to be fun? So you basically build that first idea and you start to iterate. You change some stuff, you pivot, and sometimes that works out. But more often than not, you'll find yourself stuck in a corner and there's no way out. And that is where the second problem kicks in. The one issue that has single-handedly bankrupted thousands of gaming studios and ruined hundreds of thousands of careers. Passion. You need passion in the gaming industry to be able to put in all the work because, as I said, it is difficult, it is very taxing. And when I say passion, I'm not talking about those weird novels that your mom keeps at her bedstand. I'm talking about love for the product, love for your game. You had a great idea, you were going to make the best game ever. You sacrificed so much to get here. You're married to this idea, you have a tunnel vision, and there's no way you're going to give up on it. So you just keep grinding, digging yourself deeper into a hole, hoping that you'll find diamonds somewhere deeper in the tunnel. But see, game development is not Minecraft. See what I did there? I used the game to make an analogy about gaming. Smart, right? Yeah, I have my moments. They are very rare though, so someone should clip this. Reality often is that there are no diamonds at the bottom of that tunnel. Something Team 4 learned themselves when they had to cancel Project Titan all those years ago, which eventually was turned into Overwatch. In a way, it's almost poetic. Project Titan was going to be an MMO shooter with a heavy PvE element, and it was somewhat set in what is today's Overwatch universe. To see them make the same mistake on something that was pushing the game closer back to that Project Titan vision, yeah, it's telling. But anyways, it's not that simple either. You can tell that they tried to organize to get that vision done. But as I said, they run into hurdles. There was a pandemic that hit the world. They got distracted by the struggle with corporate at Activision Blizzard and within Blizzard itself. They somewhat abandoned the original game, which they admitted to, and thus upset the community. So things were not going as planned. I presume it was a bit of a mess. But then came Jared Neuss, the current executive producer for Overwatch. Now, I'm not pointing the finger at Jared and stating that he is the issue, that he is the cause of this problem. If anything, he is the person within the leadership of the Overwatch team that I respect the most. But that is a different story. Now, what follows is an interpretation based on my personal and professional experience, but I am making assumptions. I was not there, they did not talk about it. What I think happened is that Jared was added to this team to fix and he came in and most likely saw a huge group of people being very passionate about what they were making, but burning themselves, chasing their dreams and trying to fulfill a promise they made to us as a community back in 2019. Now, he has no personal connection to that history. He could only see the issues. And he is a professional with a lot of experience. So he stepped in and talked the team down from the ledge. He helped them to make those hard decisions, the ones that we saw the results of yesterday. He is the executioner, but he did not commit the crime. And the crime being, in this case, not being able to make that vision from a few years ago actually materialize under the circumstances. Now, was it impossible to get it done? No. But it would have taken him at least another 3 years. But yeah, sure, they made 100 million in the first quarter. They can pay for it, just hire a lot more people. Well, yes and no. Yes, they need to grow the team, even for what they're doing right now. But growing a team only works to a certain extent. If you are trying to move a heavy desk, other people helping you out will lighten the load for you. Until the point that you have 10 people trying to help you out, in which case everybody gets in each other's way. It is a simple comparison, but it works really well. It's the same way in development. Second, Blizzard has had some issues lately. We've talked about this in previous videos. A lot of people have been leaving the company, senior profiles, and I have no reason to believe that Team 4 is excluded from that problem. And the same reasons that push those people out also make it more difficult to get good people to join. And this is kind of where I start pointing fingers, where I get a little more upset. Now, it would be very easy to point a finger at Activision Blizzard, at corporate. And while you probably all know that I'm very critical of anything they do at ABK, and that I strongly believe that they are one of the root causes of this whole predicament, they are not the ones that made that decision that was shared with us yesterday. That was Team 4's call. Why? Well, if you paid attention to everything I've been saying in the last minute, you know what. It is basically a call they had to make. And that is my professional side talking. Trust me, the fanboy in me is yelling something completely different. Something my professional and my fanboy side can agree on is that the communication about all of this was bad. There's no other way to put it. It's like your best friend coming to tell you that he knows that your girlfriend is sleeping with that weird biker that lives around the corner, and that he has known for the last few years. I'll do you one even better, they actually were doing it on his sofa while he was filming it. They must have known for a while that this was the way forward. I know some people claim that they've known for 16 months already, but I think that is kind of a misunderstanding. They were talking about the fact that we're going to separate PvE from PvP. However, I still think they already knew for a while that PvE was not going to end up the way they promised it to us back in 2019. And still, they waited till yesterday to tell us, after postponing that announcement for more than a month. And in the meanwhile, hyping everything up. The announcement, but also in a way PvE. And everything around that, including the communication they did yesterday. And team members stepping up on social media to support this decision feels like damage control from the 60s. From an era where we still believe that communication is broadcasting. We have a former president who is about to be kicked out, makes an announcement on TV and radio to try and save his ass. The thing is, it's a conversation now. Welcome to 2023. Don't offer me a piece of chocolate shaped like a turd and ask me how it tastes. Try and explain to me first why it is shaped like a turd. Be honest. And show me that normal shaped piece of chocolate you keep talking about. Jesus, seems I'm a little more angry about this than I thought. And I know, I'm going a little deep with these comparisons, but if you're going to bring us bad news, at least show us the alternative instead of just talking about it and showing this image that tells us nothing. To say it in Tom Cruise's words, show me the freaking money. What we got is a dev chat and an interview with a website that about 3% of the fan base is going to read. About the dev chat, I came home after a nice dinner with some of my closest friends. We had a lovely evening, and I had noticed that there was an announcement, but I trusted in my crew to handle all of it. Now, when I came back home, I already noticed something was going on. My crew was being a little mysterious. But anyways, I popped on the video, checked it out, noticed that I only needed to watch the final 8 minutes because the rest was a bit of fluff. Seeing Jared and Aaron's face in that video scared the bejesus out of me. It was like a funeral, and rightfully so. Because 8 minutes later, I was staring at a black screen, wondering what I had just been watching. The last 4 years just kind of flashed in front of me. And then there was the lengthy interview they did with GameSpot. This is how I put it on Discord. I've seen politicians doing a better job talking themselves out of a situation where they were caught in a cheap motel with a 60-year-old prostitute and a donkey. This is just old school damage control, not taking into account how people communicate in 2023. If they can offer a solution, put it on the table, and don't tell me that they don't have a solution ready. They were talking about August, that's in 3 months. Anything you release in 3 months, you can show us now. The fact that they failed to do so, but that they chose to stick with this one image full of empty promises and no context, adds to the trust problem that I was talking about last week. And I've seen your comments, everybody's like, well, this aged well. Well, it did. We would be foolish to get our hopes up at all right now. Anyways, long story short, what happened to PvE was inevitable, but they also failed to deliver on something they had full control over, and that we as a community needed right now. And that was hope. It is indeed a sad day for us as a community and for the team itself. A day where many of us have lost faith. And the rest of us, well, we stay behind and we worry. Now, if you ask me if PvE is dead, I answer no. But right now, it is nothing more than a promise. And I do have to agree with all of you that we have had too many of those lately. The proof will be in the pudding, as they say. And in this case, the pudding will be served in Season 6. But tell me, are you sticking around till Season 6? Let me know in the comments. I'll be talking about all of this on my stream that started the moment I put this video live, so come join us on twitch.tv/DamesTV. And make sure to subscribe for more updates on Overwatch.